Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So please disregard the eyelashes. I know that one eye's full and one eye is, 1/6 of the way there. But if you ain't tell, I had like a lot of glue got in this eye. So it was hard for me to see. Anyways, look, I want to talk about Giselle, Chris Bassett, and colorism. So I watched the reunion last night, part 2 for this season, and I was annoyed because Chris made such an excellent point, and I just feel like we need to amplify what he said. He said, y'all want Candace to take responsibility for the things that she say on Twitter. Y'all want her to accept some kind of responsibility or accountability for the things she say. But when y'all say the wrong thing, it's, oh, okay, my bad. But Candace can't get away with that. And that's a prime example of when Candace said in the season, the line keeps moving. And it's very true. And I wish that it was like amplified that this thing is real, like it's a real thing. And people are even saying in the comments like, Candace made colorism up, even though they're rolling back the tapes of her saying, I don't think they're colorists. I don't think they're colorists. I don't think they're colorists. Which means that she's talking about the viewing audience being colorists, which I also believe is true. So, in my mind, I likened it to Emmett Till, which I hate to say this because that is an extreme example, but it's a really good example for the situation. So Giselle said out of her own mouth, she said, Chris made me go into an empty room. He knew my glam team wasn't there. And she said, he tried to see if I was with it. And that is attempted sexual assault. Somebody forcing you into a room, somebody trying to see if that's attempted sexual assault. That is a crime. Like, Google is free if you want to look it up. Attempted sexual assault is a real thing. Candace said, she accused my husband of sexual assault when it should have been she accused my husband of attempted sexual assault. So with her leaving out that word attempted, they was able to, dismantle the whole argument. But the argument still stands. And then Giselle will come back and say, well, I didn't mean to say he meant to see if I was with it. But Candace can't just say, I meant to say, I said that. I didn't mean to say that. Giselle said, I never said he forced me. And they wrote the tape. And she did say that. She did say he forced me into a room. And then she was like, oh, my bad if I said that. Candace would never get away with that. With just saying, oh, my bad. That's not what I meant to say. So that is a prime example of the line keeps moving. And I likened it to Emmett Till just because I brought that up. I want to elaborate on it. They said the community, the Caucasian community said he whistled at this woman, or he blew a kiss at her, or he batted an eye at her, and that cost him his life. So, like I said, that is very extreme because Emmett Till is a prominent figure in the civil rights movement, and we want to respect that, of course. But the accusation being untrue the accusation being untrue and exaggerated, those line up. There's an accusation, Chris Bassett forcing me into a room, Emmett Till whistling at this woman, the consequences, which Chris said that he lost jobs, and of course that would affect you. If somebody saying, well, I heard your daddy force that lady into a room and he was trying to whatever with her and he knew wasn't nobody in the room. And this is a working man. This is not an entrepreneur like Candy and Todd. This is not somebody who owns his own business. Like, he goes to work and clock in, and you know what I'm saying? So somebody saying that you tried to R-word them, which is how it is taken. If somebody trying to see if you was with it, what did that mean? Like, let's be real, we're adults. Somebody saying that, this man got kids that's of a certain age. They know what's going on. They're not 2 and 3 years old. He got bosses at work, managers, supervisors, whatever. Like, that is not just a small thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a small thing, you know? So somebody say, oh, well, you just whistled at her. That's not a big thing. But it cost Emmett Till his life. So, and Chris said he lost job opportunities and catering opportunities and stuff like that. So, you know, you're affecting somebody's livelihood, and your response is just, oh, I didn't mean to say that. And then just look at you like a frog. I didn't mean to say that. If I said that, I didn't mean to. Wait, is that enough? And then the lady on her deathbed came back and said, it never happened. After this man done suffered all kind of consequences, you just want to come back and say, yeah, never mind. And then the host, Bravo Andy, is like, okay, next question. Candace from Minnesota. Like, when we started that was my alarm for work going off. I gotta get to work. So, but when we started the conversation, Bravo Andy said, I would like for all of you guys to take accountability. And with that, what Chris pointed out was so poignant, because he said, you know, when Candace says the wrong thing and she doubles back and says, you know what, I didn't think about how that saying that was going to make you feel. I'm sorry. It's like, oh no, that is not enough. But when Giselle says, if I said he forced me, I didn't mean to say that. And it's just like, okay, let's move on. That doesn't line up. The line for me, I have to jump here, but you could just stay back here. That is colorism. Colorism is, well, you look like that, so you don't have to face the consequences of your actions, but I look like this, so I do. Besides the color of the skin tone that they both possess, what else would it be? Colorism is, you know, a woman being able to say, and this is what Candace said when she said, you sit there with your white looking ass and you say these things and there's no consequences from the words that you're saying. Is, as a woman, if I say, you know, a man whistled at me and, you know, I know that I have a fan base, or in the situation I was talking about, I know that my husband in the community that I live in, they will do anything to protect me. They'll attack this woman, or in the situation I talked about earlier, this man, this teenage boy, because Emmett Till wasn't even a man. You know, in today's society, he would have been in 7th, 8th grade. But, and that is two different things. Like I said, that is an extreme example, but it should draw you a complete picture. If I say these words, I understand fully the implications of my words. I'm not going to take responsibility for my words. You will face responsibility for my words, saying you forced me, saying that you was trying to see if I was with it, and then just turn around and saying, oh, my bad. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't know it was going to be taken like that. And there's even her words, he made me feel uncomfortable. He didn't make you anything. What you mean to say is, I felt uncomfortable. The ownership for your feelings should fall on you. I felt uncomfortable is totally different from you made me feel uncomfortable. And they don't mean the same thing, because when you say somebody made you feel uncomfortable, the onus is on them. But the onus is on them for your feelings. You see what I'm saying? So I can't say that, you know, the colorism conversation makes me feel uncomfortable and say, you talking about colorism makes me uncomfortable, because one of them puts the onus on you for bringing it up, and one of them puts the onus on me for being uncomfortable. And I have to accept the responsibility for my own feelings because they're mine. And, you know, I wish that Candace just had the verbiage to kind of elaborate on that, because that's why people are able to still say, well, she made up colorism, or she brought it up, but it's not real and it's not really happening. And yes, it is. It may not be happening between the women on the stage at the reunion, but it's happening on Twitter. It's happening with the fan base. It's, you know, people are able to say, well, Candace cry all the time. She needs to get over it. But if it was a lighter skinned woman, when Giselle cried, everybody's like, oh, I'm so sorry you're sad. What can we do to help you? You see what I'm saying? You cry. Girl, you need to get over it. What you crying for? She cries. Why are you sad? Can we help you? What do you need? You see what I'm saying? You just don't get the same love, honor, attention, respect because of the way you present in the world. Your skin tone is closer to a slave that would have been outside versus one who would have been, you know, privileged enough to work inside of the home, outside of the sun, you know? So, I'll say all of that to say colorism is a real thing. You know, I feel like dark-skinned women experience it more, so they understand it more. But I also feel like Google is free. So if a light-skinned woman wanted to educate herself, and that's why I felt Robin like, the colorism conversation, I've never dealt with that. Ma'am, I can't shed no tears for you because your friend sitting next to you was talking about, I was receiving death threats because she implied or insinuated that I'm a colorist. And her over there crying because you insinuated that her husband was finna sexually assault you. And you're laughing. Like, and then the whole, you know, Patreon thing, like, I don't understand how Robin was able to come back this season. We pay you good money to come on this reality show and share your reality. You had a big thing happen in your reality, which is your husband being presented with a hotel receipt. He's, you know, going to pay for some woman's hotel room. If I'm paying for a hotel room, I'm smashing in it, me personally. But according to you, oh, he would never do that. And then you like best friends with bloggers and YouTubers and I should post this, shouldn't I? Like, Robin, you are so hard to empathize with. You know, it's one thing for you to live in La La Land, but it's another thing for you to invite us to live there with you. Like, I just hope that she is not living beyond her means, because I do think that Robin should be demoted to friend of the show. She even said on one of the very first episodes of this season, I don't know why y'all care about my boring life. You know what? I don't know either. Me personally, I don't know why we care either. I don't know why Bravo is paying you to share your boring life. Your words. But anyways, that's all I have to say. I'm glad that Chris pointed out the hypocrisy, specifically with Bravo Andy. But, you know, we all know it's going to go over Giselle's head because she's surrounded by people who are able to make her the victim. So instead of saying, no, Giselle, you know, they feel this way because of this thing that you said, these words that you used, they're able to say, no, Giselle, you're right. They're wrong. You don't have to accept any responsibility. And again, Andy started the reunion saying, we would like for you guys to be held accountable for the things you said. I expect some accountability, some, you know, self-responsibility during this reunion. And Giselle was like, I look forward to them being held accountable. And Robin, right behind her, yeah, me too. Them. You know what I mean? Like, how can you live a life and live in the world and just think that you don't ever do or say anything wrong, or you don't ever do or say anything that you can hold your own self accountable for? Like, my daughters are 12 and 15. I'm in a world where I be having to apologize to them. You know, when I said that, I shouldn't have said that. I should have took a second to think about the words that I said before I said it. And I'm sorry, because I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I love you. I have to say that to my own children. So for these women at their big age to be like, no, they should be accountable. But me, I just, you know, I didn't mean to, my bad. And it's barely even an I mean to there. It's just here's a video of you saying that he made you, but you're going to sit here and say, well, I didn't say that. And if I said it, my bad. Why is there still an if?